So it is very important that Asian Americans here have to learn to not to repeat the mistakes of the motherland. You know what I mean? So you are doing coalition movement with not only the Chinese and the Japanese and Americans, but the blacks and Latinos. And that means that's the best you can offer. So to me, the best hope for Asia is you people. Because Asians, your counterpart, your counterpart in Asia, they are imprisoned by their own class system, their own Confucian system. So they cannot make a headway, unless through revolution, But what I'm saying is that the reason why I have a hope of you is that you are free. This is thing I should have said, but then I've been just, I lost my center. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you are in the most advantageous position in America, that without the tribalism of nationality, like Chinese, Japanese, Korean, and they didn't give a damn to each other while they're suffering. If you look at 100 years of Asian American history, first the Chinese, they took all the brunt. In fact, I don't even know how many hundred Chinese have been lynched, because the Chinese are so oppressed, and they had no instrument of expression. So nobody literally knows how many Chinese have been lynched. You know that? Because, but this is another thing. But then the Japanese, what happens is that the Japanese started controlling Korea, Japan, China and Philippines. So anybody who come to America from Korea, Japan, China, they become antagonists. You know what I mean? They come from their homeland, you see. So for 100 years, Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, Filipinos, they did not kill each other. They tried to get away from each other while they are being oppressed, and excluded by not only media, but law enforcement. You know what I mean? Literally, Asian Americans have been trapped themselves in the tribal box of nationalism. So when the Japanese went to concentration camp, we Koreans said, "Oh, I'm not Japanese." Chinese said, "I am not we are not Japanese." That's how Asians have been divided. Even now, you can see, you know what I mean? So this is one of the most important meetings here, especially among Asian businessmen, because they are becoming target of envy, suspicion by underclass blacks and Latinos in the urban centers, you see. But still Asian, that's why, as you know, in the 1992 LA riot, you see, Korean business people have been singled out. Although in Los Angeles there are 100 different kinds of ethnic groups. Yet the Koreans are those who dare to go back to black ghettos, which are literally killing fields, and they naturally become a target. And what happens is that in that kind of circumstances, the Koreans have suffered grievously in that 1992 LA riot. They have nothing. They have nothing done wrong. They just came. With the Korean business come here. Most of them are engineers, doctors, and lawyers. But because of the language, they had to start as a small mom and pop store, like many other Asians, and they went to a place where nobody would go, like a black ghettos, see? So what happens is that in mass media, that's another thing that I forgot to mention, that the mass media has no conscience. Believe me, I worked there for 30 years. Mass media in America has no conscience, no consciousness, community consciousness. They are driven by ratings. Bottom line. That's the only reason why American media, especially today's monopolies.
So how can we change this? How can we change this?
Well, that's why this is that's why you have one of the incredible tasks. you are a publisher. You see, I was a reporter, just a hired hand of white paper. Now you are not only a reporter, you are a thinker, you are a publisher, and you are also organizer. You are party. See, this is incredible. That's why, remember, I belong to Ice Age, print era. Print era is almost Ice Age now. You see, most of my contemporary newspapermen, they are useless. They have no job because American newspapers are dying. They are surviving. They are trying to survive as a digital. You see, so every newspapers, you see, have a digital right now. So that means you guys have to compete with them. You see, and I'm not joking. What I'm saying to you is this: not only if you're going to be doctors and lawyers and scientists and business tycoon, you have to be a reporter. You have to be a writer, as equal as anybody. Otherwise, you cannot succeed. That's why I am telling you that I have no wisdom to tell you how to survive your own brave new world. I'm serious, man. That's why, and also it's very important that you have to start already. When you are born, you have got rid of one disadvantage. That means nationality. My first generation comes with nationality. I'm Korean. You know what I mean? That is obsession. I never get away from that boundary. You see, but you guys, after the Civil Rights Law, and after liberation of black people and Latino people, you are growing up with the Latinos and the blacks and the other Asians. You see, so you have already got rid of that great burden that my generation had to bear. That's very important. See, that's why I have a great hope on your generation. You know what I mean? In other words, you are in a position free from that the tribal nationality identity. That means you are a natural. Without that prejudice, you can work with all the other people of color. But this America is run by politics of color. That means black, brown, white, and yellow. But we Asian Americans who came here are burdened with, trapped by their own nationality. That's why we are never able to function as a yellow people. Because we are not united as a yellow people. Only then you participate in politics of white, brown, black, and yellow. But we are not the yellow people yet. You understand my point?
We are not yellow, yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's right.
Because we have been a yellow, all of us are yellow. So we never paid attention to being a yellow. We have been obsessed and occupied with the nation as a Korean, Japanese, Filipinos. See, but you are away from that one. Am I right? Am I right?
Deep down, we're not.
Yes.
We think we are.
That means you have to be born again. Yes. Absolutely.
We have to be born again.
In order to compete as equal in the politics of color, we have to be born again.
Mm-hmm. Have a new life, yes.
Until then, we have no place in the national politics. That's why it's very important, a guy like CC. He's one of very few people who are legally, socially, organized locally to take part in politics. Politics, that's where all the conflict, all the aspirations are being resolved. You know what I mean? So not until we learn to become a yellow man, not as a Korean or Japanese, not until we become part of the community, you know what I mean? We cannot become equal. That's why no wonder that the Asian Americans who have been here more than 150 years built the West Coast, built Hawaii, to a paradise, Yet we have no place. Have you ever seen any Asian representation in a national discourse? I don't see anybody. Only we see black and white paradigm. A white Latino paradigm. I don't see any yellow-white paradigm. You know what I mean? So we are pushed out of this national discourse. That national people, they don't really understand. No wonder they are ignorant. Because we share our own blame for not expressing ourselves, you see? So when you look at all the big newspapers, they don't really care about Asians. Only when Asians become the problem, part of the headline is a tragedy, accident, violence. Only then they pick
No,
up.
we tell all the positive stories. We are the Silicon Valley Innovation Channel, and we are Asian-owned TV channel.
Yeah,
But we tell all the positive stories. Yeah.
Well, that's the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So tell me that imagine 50 years later, what kind of society you can imagine that you or your children and your grandchildren want to be in?
Well, this is something that, because I am a relic of the Ice Age Prince era, I don't even know how to. But my dreams. Our children. You see, we are burdened and cursed with our own dark cultural heritage, so we cannot cross the river. But my hope is only our children and their children will carry our dreams and hopes over the cross the river. Because, as I said, we are trapped by their own nationality, tribalism. We cannot cross the river.
What's your dream?
Because we cannot take part in American politics. Because of it. That's why, but I can surely think that, to cross the river, you have to carry where we have been. Your generation must learn where our forefathers have been in America. That's very important. Because you are the last vestige of our journey. Unless you know our roots, you cannot have identity. You cannot have your own culture. That's where we have a great problem. Because your generation is almost, they are so removed from their heritage. So in other words, what I'm trying to say is that how you learn, in spite of incredible competition you face. Believe me, America is going through hard times, especially in higher education. It's harder to get in universities. When I was here in America 70 years ago, I walked my way through college with nothing. Yet I was able to have 2 degrees. But today, because of the educational system has become such a dumbed down, beyond our means, that the middle class Asians cannot even send their children. You know what I mean? That's why I do not envy your generation.
What's your dream?
What?
What is your dream?
Yeah, I like to see United Asia of America, Asia, because we are beginning to build United Asia,
United Asia of America. Yes, United.
Yeah. As I told you, your third generation did that in 1983. They freed the Korean kid in Chinatown. You know what I mean? They have already done an incredible job. So what I'm saying is that I hope eventually that the Asian American the coalition would advance where they can help guide their motherland into relative peace. That's what I mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank